So, Florida Craft Art, we welcome you to our event this evening, our virtual award, and we're so glad that we have people all over the country joining us. And that's one of the good things that came out of the pandemic, was that we have Zoom as a normal thing now in our lives. So our mission is to grow the statewide economy by engaging the community and advancing Florida's fine craft artists and their work. So as many of you know, our gallery, but I know that there's some people from up north who are in the show who may not have seen our gallery. This is our main gallery, and which is all of Florida artists. And then we have a gallery next to that where the exhibit is, and that is where we have changing exhibitions. So the exhibit is made possible by our sponsors, sponsored by Edward Rux and Catherine Howe, the Duncan McClellan Gallery, Jones and Dunn Legacy Group of the Premier Sotheby's, along with grants from the Florida Department of State and the City of St. Petersburg. And tonight we are going to be featuring the two lovely ladies who curated the exhibition, Mary Childs and Elizabeth Brincklow. So I'm going to turn it over to them to give you a quick tour on the show.
Well, first, thank you, Katie, for first inviting us to mount this exhibition in Florida Craft Art. We were very excited when we first received the invitation, and as the show developed and more artists submitted and were interested in the show, and the exhibition grew, it just took on a wonderful life of its own. So we're very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, there are 31 artists participating in this show. And the idea of the alchemy of art is basically what is alchemy, and taking a simple material or substance and turning it into something extraordinary, which is exactly what's happening within each piece in this show.
We decided to approach this exhibition and the concept of alchemy with the idea that the magic that happens when people create art can happen through any number of mediums and in many iterations.
And it's not only what occurs for the artist, it's also what's emanating from the work and the alchemy that's going on within the viewer, and that experience. And then within the gallery, as we were placing artworks and finding where will they live best, how do they speak with one another? Those artworks that are right next to them or across the room, how do they work together? So these are some of the photographs of the gallery, and how we placed the work.
That's right. As the work was placed, the actual whole exhibit took on a life of its own as well, which was a whole other kind of magic.
Yeah, they were really talking to us quite a bit. So we really just thank you for your artistry and for the thoughtfulness and the technique and skill that you're bringing to these materials, and how they resonate with each viewer individually.
On the left, we have work by an artist who lives and works in St. Petersburg, Faye Sky McDonough. She uses recycled glass. This is the blue pieces on the left, and on the right.
On the right are P.A. Kushner's sculptures, which have such amazing deep meaning, and every time I view them, there's something else that's coming out to me. PA's from Clearwater, so she's right in our region.
The handmade paper series by Nikki Devereux of St. Petersburg, Florida, explores the material itself. Her handmade pieces of paper become sculptures rather than substrates, which gives them new life and meaning. She is exploring sustainability in both practice and theme.
This is a series of glass pieces by Peter Hauck. Peter is the artistic director of MIT in Cambridge. This series came about through an accident. He was trying to achieve one type of work, and something else happened with the bubbles and the lenses, and he went and explored that whole concept. So on the left are works by Natalie Tyler from Massachusetts, and right in the center of the wall are collaborative works by Natalie and Kiki, which they created down in St. Petersburg using the kiln at the Duncan McClellan Gallery. To the right are hot sculpted glass flowers by Marielle Bass, and two wonderful little frog sculptures in the vitrine by Marielle as well.
In front is Nick Reali, this incredible chair, which is materials and magic all in one. It's a wonderful chair. And I love the fact that, placing items so that they're within eyeshot of the viewer is fantastic, because when it was placed further on the floor, it's beautiful, but we wanted to really lift it a little bit up so that you could not have to bend over to view it. And so I like that choice a lot. All the way to the right, the teardrop, which is just a beautiful use of that piece of wood, multiple pieces of wood, actually. Gorgeous finish. I was taken when he sent in his images, and then we were doing close-up images. Actually, the close-up of the wood was fascinating, and each work was completely different. And you'll see as we go around the room, he has other works. Mary, you want to talk about Eric and Martin's work?
Sure. To the right of the wooden sculpture is an origami sculpture created by father and son Eric and Martin Demain, both also at MIT in Cambridge, Mass. And Eric and Marty started this series of origami sculptures to explore and prove mathematical algorithms.
Robert Schott's work, there are 5 works straight in front of us. The refinement of these works in the finishes was something that I admired, as well as the construction. They're architectural, and the construction of each work with these found or recycled materials is it's really an architectural feat to me. How you would make, not so much how you make each one different, but how you elevate each one.
This is Tides of Time by Eric Hilton and James Allen. And it's a collaborative piece that uses etched glass on the face. And then behind the etched glass is just a flow of beautiful colors and patterns. And that is created by James Allen, who has programmed raw computer data to eternally interact with itself to create an endless stream of patterns and color. And I think Eric might be on the Zoom today. Are you here, Eric? Hi, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm here.
All right. So it's just a beautiful piece, and it was inspired by watching the waves ebb out on a beach in northern Scotland, and watching the way the water created these rivulets on the sand. And Eric and James tried to recreate that through this piece.
All the way to the right there is a vintage silk recycled materials with felting. And this is an amazingly intricate dress that has no seams. And there's additional beading and embroidery that's on this work that is exceptional work. And it's very, very beautiful.
So in the foreground here, we have another piece by Eric and Marty Domain, another exploration of mathematics and origami. In the background, we have work by Michael Boraniak, ceramic pieces that are cut and then suspended in the kiln to create the loops. Here we go. This is a beautiful example. And in this series, Michael is exploring this concept of construction and deconstruction, positive and negative space, patterns in the solid form and patterns that are created as the light passes through them.
And behind Michael's work is the fiber artwork of Alice Pickett Lewis. And Alice uses not only sewing, recycled fabrics. She also uses painting to add another dimension and layer to the work. And they're just absolutely lovely works. And just to comment about how Mary and I this was the very first scene, if you will, that we put together in the gallery. And there was this just sense of calm and fascination all at once when we put this together. And then, of course, the placing of each pedestal and the height of each pedestal. We were very mindful to be able to, so we could see all the other work behind it. The work of Eric Folsom, who is a bronze artist, as the little sun spray in the upper left corner. And then Peggy Gallagher's work, which is, so you think, okay, what is alchemy? It's taking, these common items and making them into something new. And both of these works were like, they make you happy. And there's a couple other works that also, like, alchemy, think, oh, it's very heavy, it's very thick. And it's not at all. It's not at all. And Elizabeth Neely's work, Elizabeth has this fiber art and mixed media figurine, and then also very fine fiber art quilting work that is framed behind it.
And this little grouping just created so much delight. Also, this was it is to the left of the Boraniak work, and it's another little grouping that creates a scenario of its own and a reaction of its own, which is part of the alchemy piece.
To our left here is Dr. Mesmer, and he is the creation out of the minds of Chris Chomick and Peter Meder. He is hand-built and computerized, and he can be in motion. There's a video screen below it that when they're not there to operate because of the sensitivity of the piece, that we can see him in action in the video below. So that was a wonderful addition with an item that has a delicacy to it.
And the pieces to the right are all hand embroidered. They are somewhat miniature, and you don't get that in the scale of this work, but each one is a little organism in itself. And together they form kind of this conversation about movement and small organisms and life. We have a beautiful picture here of two tapestries by Velda Newman from California. They are each about 9 feet long and approximately 4 to 4.5 feet high. They are quilted and painted. And we were very, very excited to have Velda submit this work to this exhibit.
There were works. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
there were fiber artists in the gallery who were, just wanting to touch and be very close to it, and they were astounded by the fact that it's all hand stitched.
Mhm.
And they had known of Velda within the fiber world and had never seen her work personally, so they were very moved to be able to see the work. Two more works of Randy Colbath are the wooden piece to the left of the sunflower quilt, and then this gorgeous bowl in the center between the pear and the sunflower. And again, the depth of the finish, the structure of the piece, how he's worked with the wood is just an elevated approach to that fine woodworking. To the left is Don Giolinella's The Fawn. We wanted these works, they just really spoke to us to be in the middle of the gallery on the right side of the gallery as you're looking. Yeah, go ahead, Katie, because that's another piece of Donald's, The Raven. And against with that yellow, against with the black and the white, it just really spoke to us that that's where those two works needed to be.
So in the foreground, we have a piece by Wayne Stratman. Wayne is in Allston, just outside of Boston. And Wayne is known in the glass art world as someone who combines science and glass. This is a blown borosilicate container of several layers, and in between the layers, Wayne has painted phosphorus paint, and then filled the gap with neon and inert gas, and then the piece is electrified, and it causes the gas to move around the phosphorus paint. And this is an interactive piece. If you put your hand up close to the piece, the energy causes the colors inside to move around. Again, this is a piece that causes wonder and curiosity, and helps you to ask more questions about what is light, what is glass, what is art, what is electricity, what is energy.
Carrie Rappaport is a Boston-based artist whose work focuses on the mediums of flame-worked glass, illuminated plasma, and porcelain sculpture. Plasma hyacinth is sculpted with flame-worked borosilicate glass and filled with krypton gas, which creates a glowing white plasma when lit by high-voltage, high-frequency electricity.
And this is Queen Odette, one of our favorite pieces in the show.
Yeah,
Judy Freeman.
Yes, by Judy Freeman. She, again, this is one of those pieces you go, well, how does this fit into the alchemy? And the alchemy is that she's beautifully created and brings great joy to the viewer. So she's divining that emotion out of us. And we wanted to elevate her because she is on point. So we placed her on a little pedestal, on a bigger pedestal, and then put a vitrine over her. We just really enjoyed when we walked in the gallery. The first, we're like, she's just lovely. And here she is. She's a little pig, but she can be just the star of the show anywhere she is.
So the pieces on the wall are quilted and painted. And Elizabeth, maybe you can address this artist better than I, both of these artists, because you're more familiar with them.
Bobby Bao is the artist of the fiber artworks that are on the wall. And they're they're stitched, they're, put together with the variety of materials, and then also painted. So she's using a multiple approach to create her images. And I'm really glad, Katie, that you took this shot, because there's 3 artists' work here. Bobby's work, which is installed on the wall. And then to the left is Melissa Fair's One Breath, a Ruined Dress, which it has gained a lot of interest from young people, in particular when they're coming into the gallery. They were quite taken by this work, which is a doll's dress, and it has quite deep meaning. So I hope when you can visit the gallery that you really can take a look at this piece, certainly along with all the other pieces. And Joan Libby Hawk's work is in front, that Katie's indicating, this sort of ruined house. And then over to the right is Whose Story. And there are these very wafer thin ceramic plates, if you will, that are behind one behind the other, that there's a calligraphy or writing on it that tells a story. But again, here's this picture that we were putting together of the house, the story, a deeper story told by putting these objects together, these artworks together.
This ended up to be, I think, a very profound wall. The more you absorb the art by these 3 artists, you are absorbing the concept of home, of life, of building up and ruination, also of trying to find safety at the same time not feeling safe. And this wall had a profound effect during the opening. I was watching people, kind of take this in, and it's something that you could really ponder for quite a while. So another one of those moments of alchemy.
These are the beautiful silk jackets and wall piece. Art as a Metaphor is the title of the wall piece. These are silk jackets on the left and the right. Absolutely gorgeous construction. The juxtaposition of the different materials that she uses together really create, each jacket has its own moment. And then we were delighted that we could also put the Art of the Metaphor in between, because it just shows another side of this artist and her use of fabric and fiber.
Barbara Williams also dyes a lot of the fabric herself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I think
another
I
component
think she's
of it.
here. Well, many, if not most of the artists are here with us, but I think I saw her earlier.
Okay, so let me now introduce, if I may, Christine Rank Carter, who we're very thrilled to judge the exhibition for us. Christine is the newly appointed executive director of the Lipa Rapner Museum of Art at St. Petersburg College's Tarpon Springs campus. She's been immersed in the Tampa Bay arts community since a very young age, as her parents were both artists, and are both artists, excuse me. She spent a lifetime in the pursuit of art. Her career spans 24 years as a museum professional in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area and in Florida. Since joining SPC in 2009, her mission has been to engage and inspire others through the power of art and education. As the curator for Lipa Rapner since 2016, she has elevated the museum's presence nationally through high-profile exhibitions, engaging programs, and major art acquisitions. Christine has worked with major collections at the Baltimore Museum of Art, Vero Beach Museum of Art, and the Gulf Coast Museum of Art, and studied paper preservation at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. She established the SPC's Foundation Public Art Collection and curated major exhibitions for the Florida International Museum. As the director of adult education at the Dunedin Fine Arts Center, she directed an active art school of 85 faculty and oversaw the center's expansion of art studios on multiple campuses. As an accomplished artist, she shows her mixed media work throughout the United States and Japan, and we're thrilled that she agreed to be our judge. So please join me in welcoming Christine Ricarda.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Katie. That was quite an introduction. I've kind of forgotten I did all that, but that was. I'm just thrilled to be here and to be working with you all. The three of you, Katie, Elizabeth, and Mary, you really are inspiring to a lot of us in this Tampa Bay arts community. So I was thrilled and couldn't be happier to kind of be a part of this. Katie, thank you so much for inviting me to judge this exhibition, especially since we at Lipa Ratner are partnering with Florida CraftArt this summer, and we're so excited to celebrate Florida CraftArt and your permanent collection, which we've titled Material Mastery, Florida CraftArt's Permanent Collection of Fine Craft, at the museum, which opens in June and will run from June 10th to August 27th. So we're busy behind the scenes preparing for that. So this is a great entree into that. So we're just happy to be partnering with you. It was an honor, I have to say, and a treat to spend time with each of these works in this show. It was quite a challenge to narrow down the selection to just a few, honestly. This exhibition, I felt, really pushed the medium of fine craft, with many of the works exploring science and math and technology through various mediums of fine craft. Every work was absolutely engaging, interactive, and otherworldly, and they each embodied the theme of the alchemy in art. I do send my heartfelt congratulations to each artist in this exhibition. You have already won for being a part of this amazing show. So congratulations to you all. I believe truly we are witnessing the future of craft in this gallery. Some of these artists I have actually been following for many years, so I was excited to see some works in person for the first time, but I was also really delighted to discover some of these artists, and hopefully maybe we'll see them in the future at Lipa Ratner. Overall, this exhibition presents such a wonderful mix of mediums, from glass to fiber to mixed media and ceramic. And I want to send my heartfelt congratulations to Mary Childs and Elizabeth Brincklow for curating this such an incredible show. I have a great admiration for you all, so thank you for letting me be a part of this. So we will begin with honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is awarded to Wayne Stratman of Allston, Massachusetts for Mesmer No. 2 EM Color Fields. I was completely blown away by this piece, to be honest. And the more I read about the artist, I was enthralled with the scientific side of experimenting with electricity, light, and glass. And later, I need to find out how this piece was shipped, because I thought this was just an incredible feat. But totally loved this piece. So congratulations, Wayne.
And Wayne is here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, I feel like we should be honored that you were part of this exhibition, and I cannot wait to see more of your work. Next, we have, for second honorable mention, is What Now by P.A. Kushner of Clearwater, Florida. I was delighted to see, actually, we had 3 works by P.A. Kushner in this show, and it really was a difficult task to try to decide which one should be placed as an award winner. In the end, I really loved the tension and the combination of media in What Now. And I believe, did I see P.A. Kushner on this
Yes, thank you so much, Christine. What an honor to be in the show. And the work, I ran down Sunday afternoon just to get a glimpse at it. I didn't know if we'd be seeing it tonight, so I wanted to see what was in there, and I just got really choked up. The quality and the beauty of the work, and it was amazing. Thank you so much all for including me and this great honor. Truly, thank you.
Well, thank you. Now this third honorable mention, and I have to say, I've judged some of these artists in other shows and given them awards. So this was really, really so fun to see, especially our local artists be celebrated alongside some of these other artists who are from all over the country. And that would also include Leanne Kretsch for her wool felted dress that is called Petals. And Leanne is from Tampa, Florida. And like I mentioned, I've been following her work for many years, but it's been an absolute pleasure to see her work evolve and grow. She, I feel, really pushes the medium of wool felting to new heights with a fashion-forward aesthetic that is youthful in spirit and expertly made.
Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a beautiful piece, and I hope one day maybe I can fit into one of your dresses. I'd love to wear one.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Our fourth honorable mention goes to Tampa-based mixed media artist Melissa Fair for One Breath, a Ruined Dress. Now, personally, as a printmaker and a mixed media artist, I was taken with this piece, especially this sort of haunting image of this doll's dress and the stitched text, which was deeply intimate and personal. It's truly a very powerful sculpture made with sumptuous materials, and it really creates that sort of intimate feeling where you could really linger and experience the piece and walk all the way around it and read a very, very personal story. And the final honorable mention is for St. Petersburg artists Chris Chomick and Peter, who created the amazing Dr. Mesmer, the Electronic Automaton. This is an amazing interactive piece that made me feel like I was a kid filled with wonder, like going to the carnival for the very first time. The craftsmanship is just unbelievable. And I was so glad that while I was in the gallery, I had someone actually turn on the piece so that I could see it fully. And I'm really glad I did, because that just brought that piece to a whole other level. It is very humorous. You can get entranced by the little spinning spiral thing. It was really hard to break away from this piece because you just wanted to watch it for hours. And it really, what I love is that this artwork becomes an experience that you can never forget.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We
Thanks very
appreciate
much.
it.
That's a really great piece. And again, I can't wait to see more.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to the place winners. We've got third place goes to Eric and Martin Demain from Cambridge, Massachusetts for 0331B Fire Curls. The father and son math arts team's work includes over 300 curved origami sculptures, including pieces in the permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York and the Renwick Gallery in the Smithsonian. Their scientific work includes over 100 published joint papers, including several about combining mathematics and art. Now, when you think of origami, you often think of paper cranes and angular forms. As a fan of paper-based art, I've been following these artists for many years. This perfect marriage of math and paper made into sculptural forms is absolutely mind-bending. Your eye is in a constant flow, searching the form that has no ending and no beginning, a perfect form that is meditative and never-ending. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're there.
Yeah, this is, again, I hope I can see more one day. Love it. Second place is given to Nick Reale of St. Petersburg, Florida for The Float, a suspended leg-free wood chair that is both scientific and magical. The float is the perfect amalgamation of science, design, superior craftsmanship, and fine art. I also admire Nick's use of the local woods that are air dried in a conscientious effort to help preserve the planet. So congratulations, Nick.
Well, thank you very, very much. I hope you sat in it.
No, well, as a museum person, I did not sit in it. But now that I know I can, maybe I will. I'll have to come back.
You're welcome to. It's a very unusual feeling when you sit in it.
Oh, well, it's absolutely breathtaking. So looking forward to seeing more of your work.
Thank you very, very much.
All right. Well, first place is awarded to an artist from Barrington, Massachusetts, Natalie Tyler, for a glass and bronze artwork titled Eagle's Nest. Natalie's alchemy of glass and complexity of a delicate process epitomizes the theme of this show. The way she treats the surface of the glass is, in this particular piece, creates an ethereal sculpture that hints at a greater narrative at play. It is mysterious and beautiful, and the craftsmanship was just absolutely outstanding. And I loved the relationship of this piece with, there's an antler piece that is kind of a chandelier lighted sculpture piece that is installed above this work. And it's a really, really wonderful combination. So congratulations to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Christine. I'm very honored because it's a beautiful and intriguing exhibition. Everybody's work is really stellar, and I feel really honored. Thank you, Mary and Elizabeth, for putting together such a wonderful exhibition, and thank you to Florida CraftArt for hosting such an amazing event. So thank you all. Thank you.
Awesome. And I understand you are in an artist residency in Duncan McClellan's glass studio?
I've been there for 2 weeks and just finished up today, and that was really an incredible experience.
Oh, awesome. Well, I know you've definitely come to the right place. This is we're so excited to see your work here, and I hope that we get to see more soon.
I love it here. It's a special spot. Lots of great people, and you have the beach. So.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Thank you, Christine.
Well, it looks like we're down to Best of Show. Best in Show is awarded to artists from Odessa, New York, James Allen and Eric Hilton for Tides of Time. Eric sculpted a glass panel with the flowing forms and graceful curves that invite the viewer's gaze on a journey through the abstract landscape of the glass and the ever-changing imagery within. I know we talked a little bit about this piece before as Katie was, or as you all were kind of touring the show, but just to explore it a little more, behind the glass is a computer monitor on which James created a dynamic panorama of moving images that wind through and around and insinuate themselves into a landscape of the glass. Like the seasons and the tides, these images never repeat themselves exactly, but are constantly generated anew by custom software James developed explicitly for this piece. There were a few pieces in this exhibition that literally came to life. Tides of Time was so engaging and completely embodies the alchemy of glass and digital media in just a new and interesting way. The craftsmanship on all levels was just so well executed, from the glass piece to the digital program, and the beautiful construction of its display case and frame, which I think you can kind of see in this. This was absolutely captivating, and I encourage you to, if you can come to the gallery, maybe we can share a video of it for those who are online, but it's really an interesting piece, and I think it's an interesting way to lead craft fine art into the future. So congratulations to you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Christine.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I wanted to also thank Mary for inviting us to this show, and to say that I think it's kind of appropriate So this piece is in a series that we've done called the Mysterium series, and that was based in part off of a term called Mysterium Magnum, which is what medieval alchemists employed to denote the sort of primordial, undifferentiated matter from which all the other elements sprang. So that's kind of what, and an idea that we've been working with in this piece, as well as some of the others, how we can have this fusion of glass and, sort of technological imagery into something new, and hopefully to be an adventure for people that are viewing it. So it's great to have to get this, this award. It's really, I feel honored amongst so many fine works. I really appreciate it.
Hey, James, thanks for saying all that. That was terrific. Yeah, it's a very romantic kind of piece, and a lot of our pieces take us on visual adventures. They're full of the pulse of life in an abstract way. And when I gaze upon this one, it reminds me of the coast of the north of Scotland, where it never ceases to amaze me in its atmospheric complexity. It never is the same from morning to night. It's the pulse of life, and the whole of our planet contains this pulse of life. And in a lot of James and my pieces, it tries to emulate this pulse. People interpret it in their own personal way, which art is about. We all do that. Actually, I always keep thinking the sound of music of various qualities and different emotions are absolutely terrific when one sits and looks at these works. I've sat in the studio at times with a little glass of wine and watched the pulse of life in these pieces. I'm so pleased and happy that James and I are in the show, and the show looks absolutely fantastic. The way it's been creatively employed and put together. Mary, you're great. It's wonderful through folks that have done all this. It's terrific when we see the energy that goes into these shows and the complexity and selection of the work, the creativity of the artists. Come on, guys. It's fabulous. Beautiful. Thank you again.
Well, thank you, Eric. And I was so impressed when I saw photos of the piece that I used on a lot of the publicity. This is Katie Dietz, CEO of Florida CraftArt. So we're delighted to have it, and we'll make sure to send you some of the publicity that we've done with this. I wanted to say too that I always give an award to an artist in the show called the Director's Award, and so I would like to present that now to Bobby Bao. And Bobby did this beautiful quilt. As they reviewed, I think there's 4 in the show. This one really spoke to me, and she also hand dyes a lot of the fabric, and the craftsmanship is extraordinary. So congratulations, Bobby. Bobby, are you on the call by any chance? Okay, well, she may not have been able to mute herself in time. Hopefully she's on. And I wanted to say too that we will be sending all of the award winners out the certificate, so they'll receive that in the mail. We also have educational programming that goes along with this. And we're honored that Chomick+Meder will be demonstrating at the second Saturday Art Walk this Saturday between 6 and 8 p.m. So if you're in town, please come in and see this amazing work of art. And if you're not in town, we'd like you to fly in. So that's this Saturday from 6 to 8. We also will be celebrating Pride and encourage people to stay healthy. June 14th, Metro Health is going to be doing a presentation in the gallery. And we will also have the curators talk. Isn't this a cute photo of the two of them? And that's going to be on the final day of the exhibition, June 24th at 4 p.m. So the exhibit, as you can see, this is some of the promotion that we did with the works of art that people, the photographs that were sent in to us. And again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Catherine Howden, Edward Ruck, Duncan McClellan Gallery, Tyler Jones of Jones and Dunn Legacy Group, of Premier Sotheby's International Realty, and of course the state of Florida and the city of St. Pete. So now I'd like to open it up for comments and questions. I just want to say before I close this that we're open 7 days a week, except for major holidays. And so we will look forward to seeing you, and please follow us on Facebook and Instagram also. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that people, oh, well, Elizabeth, did you want to say something before I start sharing?
Well, just very quickly, Bobby Bao has, she says on the chat, she says, I am here, but without microphone. Many, many thanks. I am honored. So that's from Bobby. Thanks, Bobby.
Well, good. Well, her work is really terrific. So congratulations to all the winners, and please, we can, and to Christine for her excellent comments. I'm going to quote you in the press release that I'm sending out tomorrow. So if anyone would like to say anything, oh, I did not mention a young lady who is so important to Florida Craft Art, and that is Julia Culver. And you can see her. She is the gallery manager, and she works tirelessly to set up these great exhibits and to keep our gallery looking just great. Thank you so much, Julia, for all your hard work.
Thank you, Julia. You were great.
Sorry, I was on mute. I loved watching the collaboration between Elizabeth and Mary Childs and artist Richard Logan set the show. I was so hands-free on my part, and I learned so much from you all. And it just, the energy that you guys had throughout setting the show and the consideration, it just elevated my thoughts on curation. So I'm happy to carry that energy through and really share everything that we've that you've set up here. So thank you. Thank you, Katie, for the next comment.
Would anyone else like to make any comments, or any of the artists that are in the show? You're welcome to say something if you like. Melissa Fair, I see you on there. Why don't you tell us about your piece, maybe how you were inspired by it?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as always, honored to be in the show. Obviously, I love the gallery. It's near and dear to my heart. This piece, I had, for whatever reason, I didn't see the call until about 10 days before the original deadline. And I chose to do a lot of different techniques, including a couple things I had never done before, which is always awesome, right? Like, let's just do it at the last minute when we don't have any time to mess up and figure things out. I combined almost every trick in the book that I have. I did some pyrography. I dipped the piece in caustic medium, which I also made. I did embroidery, which I have never done before. Also made the stand, which seems like a real accomplishment because it involved a lot of power tools. But super happy with that piece. It's a weird genealogy life story. It was definitely the strangest artist statement I ever submitted. So I don't know if they shared that with anybody. But, you know, I
want to say, Melissa, that all of the artist statements and bios are in a book here for all of our visitors to see.
Yeah. So if you want a little treat, picture Mary and Elizabeth receiving that artist statement. But it did spawn from one of the last poems I wrote when I used to be a writer. And I did want the poem included, which I appreciate the gallery like allowing me to have the poem there as well. So
thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Eric Demain, I read all the bios and I put them together in the books, and I was so impressed with the father and son team. So I would love to, they're at MIT, the qualifications and everything are just fantastic. Would you all feel like making a few comments?
Sure. We've known each other a long time, and our first collaboration was called the Eric and Dad Puzzle Company.
Eric was 6 years old when we started, and we sold these handmade puzzles all across Canada, and it forged a working relationship that's continued to today.
Although I think he still owes me some money from that.
Oh, that's
business.
True. I think I still owe him like $50.
When I was 7, we traveled around mostly the East Coast of the US for 4 years. And my dad homeschooled me during that time. So we got really close from traveling together and making life decisions together, like where to go next, and just had a lot of fun there. And that really formed a strong bond that continues to today. Then I went to university when I was 12. And my dad sat in classes to be able to keep talking to me and understand what was going on in my life. And I eventually seduced him into the world of mathematics and computer science. But his background is more on visual arts and glass blowing. And later he seduced me into the world of art. So
what's interesting is they're both very close in the way you think. It's a way of solving problems and understanding techniques and having fun.
So and now we've written hundreds of papers together and made hundreds of sculptures together. So it's a lot of fun, and in our work we really like to go back and forth between the two, and that's sort of the alchemy here of combining these two. We think of mathematics as a medium, so combining these mediums is a lot of fun for us. We get inspired in making art to do new mathematics, and when we do mathematics, we get inspired to make new art. So it's a collaboration across disciplines, but also across the family.
And Eric, you're a professor at MIT?
Right. Yeah, I've been teaching computer science there for the last 22 years.
Wow, you don't look old enough. And Martin, you also work at MIT.
Yes, I have 2 positions. I'm an artist, a permanent artist in residence, and a researcher.
Best of both worlds.
Right. So I get to play in both areas.
Well, as I said, I really enjoyed reading your bio, and I worked with my father too, and was very close, and was homeschooled for a period of time when we traveled.
Cool! Wow, that's a lot of similarities
in time. So, anybody else would like to comment? Oh, I see Mike Broniak. Did I say that right? Broniak? Can you unmute yourself?
Hi. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you, Mary, for getting the work safely from point A to B as always. And we've worked a very long time together, so it was very nice to connect this past time.
Well, they're interesting pieces. I was curious what clay body you use.
I use a very localized clay body. I'm trying to get a grant right now to mix my own that would kind of work better for the science that I'm using. But it's a low fire earthenware.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, they're beautifully, the craftsmanship is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much. And
yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I also
and thank you, Mary.
Ask Chris Chomick and her husband Peter if they would like to say something about the 2 of them are members of I think it's not a National Association of Doll Artists. Say that correctly?
NIADA. Yeah, NIADA, National
Yeah.
Institute of American Doll Artists.
Mhm.
And and now we're going to a show in North Carolina about a month, I guess. So, that's always exciting because we get a lot of inspiration. And it's the word doll is so confusing to a lot of people because it's like, well, what do you mean doll? There are dolls that just transcend the Barbie and the Cabbage Patch doll. It's so beautiful, the work that's being done.
And we were really thrilled to be included in this exhibition. It was just exciting and beautiful work. I was so impressed by everybody. And we're happy to be able to show the doctor because he doesn't get to travel much because of how he's put together. So no airplanes for him.
Yeah, well, most of the problem we have when we travel is our luggage is always opened up and they check everything because there's a lot of electronics and a lot of wires, and the TSA sure doesn't like that.
I can imagine. Well, we are excited that you're going to be demonstrating at the second Saturday too. So we appreciate that you're promoting that also. And please, I'd like all the artists to try and promote people to come to the exhibition and the second Saturday. Mm-hmm. So let's see. PA, would you like to comment about your sculpture? You have 3 pieces in the exhibit. You need to unmute yourself.
Yes, I was writing a comment. I wanted to thank everybody. After hearing everybody's explanations of their work, because I saw them briefly, but I didn't know a lot of the information that was given tonight. You get a deep appreciation, and it's really great to be with you all, to be a part of this. I'm humbled, but I will say the one that you picked, What Now, is the dichotomy between East and West. And it started, I was walking in the north end of Honeymoon Beach, which you guys that don't live here, it's amazing. It's like, there's nobody up there on a good day. And it's really, really cool. And I picked up that branch, and the whole piece came from that branch. The 2 women holding and going separate. And, that Stetson the one's wearing is my Stetson hat, my boots, and the other woman's got Polo, the little dog behind me, in the picture on her head. And you can't really see that in there, but there's a little tongue sticking out and everything. But it has a lot to do with what was happening to me personally and what was happening in our world. It was right previous to COVID and going into everything that, we all changed. Everything changed, it seemed. And, the other pieces are the same thing. They're just a different version. The 2 heads, I'm right. Everybody was right. Everybody's right, and I started to realize that we're all right. We come from our own experiences, and I was really thinking about a lot of that kind of stuff while I was making them. And I usually see the whole conception of the piece before I start working. And then I just, get into a few little adornments, but it's just, never mind all that. You guys are amazing. I loved everybody's work. I'm going to go, I live here, so I can go and study now. And thank you very, very much.
Thank you, PA. I'd like to invite Nick Reale, if he would like to say something about, and his studio it's in Salt Creek?
Salt Creek Arts. Yeah, it's down by Lansing Park in the old Southeast.
And can people come to visit your studio?
Every day.
And you have it there with your beautiful wife, Shelley, who's a ceramic artist.
Yes. And we're usually there every day. And we just love it when people come in and want to look and learn and try stuff out. So that's one of the best things about doing it. Actually, I think you saw this chair when it was just starting to be put together. And I remember your reaction. Well, That's something I've never seen before.
Well, I never have, and you were inspired when you saw a table done with tension.
Yeah, I saw a tension table, and I said, I got to make a chair. I got to see how it would feel to sit in this chair. And I felt very good about it. And then when I came to visit the gallery, I looked over at it and I looked at all the other items in the gallery and I went, oh, it's so small and like just, I was so impressed with everybody's work that I thought was just so elevated above anything that I had put in. And this is probably the best show I've ever seen at CraftArt. I spent so much time looking at everybody's work. It's just so good. And I just went, well, I gave it a shot, you know? So I do appreciate.
So I think you did a good job there, Nick. So don't be down. It's very interesting.
I'm surprised and I really appreciate it. And really my heart is in using the local wood and drying it myself and coming up with the story of the tree. So the two woods that I used in that, those trees came from the Pink Streets a couple of years ago in the south side of St. Pete. And to me, that tells a lot about the piece and the story and what it means. I think it adds interest and value to the artistic piece. It was a lot of fun to make. It's way more fun to watch people sit in it because it's really weird.
So I bet that domains might be interesting because there's probably some math that went into that.
There's a bit of math for sure, and that I could have used the guys from MIT. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of tensegrity.
It is. Yeah. And but I had I was determined to make it all out of wood so that and have it work, not just be a sculpture. So I had a couple of times where my bottom was on the floor after trying the chair out. So that was a little tempers you a little bit, right?
Thanks, Nick. We appreciate it. And
of course,
I would like to, if anyone else would like to make a comment, they're certainly welcome to. If not, I'll turn it back over to Christine, Mary, and Elizabeth. So Christine, thank you again for judging for us. We appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing our exhibit at the Lieber Rapner up there this summer. Everyone, it's going to open June 9th if you want to come and see the permanent collection at the Lieber Rapner Museum in Tarpon Springs.
Well, thank you for having me. And I just, again, want to say congratulations to every artist who was chosen to be in this exhibition. It really is an outstanding show. And as an artist myself, I walked out of there very inspired to go, I don't have time to make art much these days, but I am going to this weekend because of you all, because I'm so inspired. So thank you so much.
I see Elizabeth Neely also on the call, and I want to thank her for her effort in putting getting all the permanent collection ready for you to pick up next week. Thank you, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth Brincklow and Mary, did you want to close us out here with some comments? And thank you for all your efforts in making this great exhibition.
Well, I'd like to thank Christine. Thank you so much. Your observations are always like just spot on and beautiful and so well spoken. And to Florida CraftArt, to Julia and to Katie, thank you so much. And to Richard Logan, who helped us install, which was we thought we could pull it off in 2 days, and it was a full 3 days of work to get everything placed appropriately and installed professionally. And I'd like to thank my co-curator, Mary Childs. We work very organically together. This is probably a third, way more than that, of projects that we've worked together, but we work very organically. It's just a partnership and a opportunity to work with someone who I admire and always learn from. So thank you, Mary. And to thank you to all the artists. What an incredible gift you've been given and that you've developed personally. It is, it's why we live, right? It's why we live, is to do this kind of work. So thank you all.
I have to agree with Elizabeth. Everyone involved in the project, Katie, Christine, Julia, all the artists that we relate to create an exhibit like this. It is why we live. And to Elizabeth also, thank you. Couldn't do this without you. And our alchemy is profound. And thank you for that. So.
Well, we appreciate, we hope you all will come down and visit us that are from up north. And we'd love to have you come in, please. If you do, come and ask to see me, because I'm usually in the back of my computer. But we're just honored that you participated in the exhibition. Thank you so much.